Sergeant Leonardo, we're live.
Sergeant, can we please start the recordings?
Cloud recording underway.
Backup is rolling.
Good morning and welcome to today's remote New York City Council hearing for the Committee on Public Safety. At this time, we ask that all council members and council staff please turn on their video for verification purposes. To minimize disruptions, please place cell phones and electronic devices to vibrate or silent. Thank you for your cooperation. Chair, we are ready to begin.
Good morning. I'm Councilmember Adrienne Adams of the 28th District in Queens, and I'm the chair of the Committee on Public Safety. I want to thank the members of the Public Safety Committee who are here this morning. Council members Miller, Powers, Holden, Brannan, Riley, Gibson, Menchaca, and Rosenthal. We'll be voting on two pieces of legislation this morning. First, proposed introduction number 2493A, sponsored by Council members Rosenthal and Brooks Powers. This introduction will require the New York City Police Department to train officers on responding to incidents involving domestic violence, sexual crimes, or human trafficking. The training will be delivered to all new recruits and biennially thereafter to all members of service who regularly interact with crime victims. The training curriculum will be developed from recommendations made by an interdisciplinary interagency committee consisting of representatives of the NYPD, the Mayor's Office to End Domestic and Gender-Based Violence, the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice, domestic violence service providers, sexual assault service providers, and human trafficking service providers. In addition, the bill would add such service providers to the city's Domestic Fatality Review Committee and create a Fatality Advisory Committee to review individual case-level data on gender-based and domestic violence fatalities. In October, the Public Safety Committee, along with the Committee on Women and Gender Equity, examined the NYPD's Special Victims Division, which is responsible for investigating allegations of sexual assault. At that hearing, one of the most memorable in my tenure here at the council, by the way, at that hearing, the committee heard heartbreaking accounts from sexual assault survivors detailing their traumatic experiences in reporting crimes to the NYPD, experiences involving stalled investigations, non-responsive police officers, and insensitive comments. These courageous survivors blew the whistle on the ongoing failures of the NYPD in ensuring its officers are equipped with the skills needed to appropriately engage with individuals reporting sexual assaults and other crimes of gender-based violence. This legislation will send the powerful message that this council will continually fight to support survivors and work diligently to ensure the NYPD handles such cases with the sensitivity, care, and attention they demand. Next, we will be voting on resolution number 1782, sponsored by myself, council members Lewis and Cumbo as well. This resolution calls for changes to state law related to qualifications for being a police officer by asking the state legislature to enact and governor to sign A7284/S6489, known as the Wandering Officers Act, which seeks to amend the New York State Executive Law to require the state's Municipal Police Training Council to adopt rules relating to eligibility for civil service appointment as police officers such that an individual shall be prohibited from appointment if such person had previously been dismissed from any police department due to findings of misconduct or resigned while under investigation pursuant to a charge of misconduct. This is a common sense reform that will, if enacted by the state legislature, result in better qualified police officers working throughout the state. Before voting on these measures, the committee welcomes a statement from Councilmember Rosenthal, who has championed improving the city's response to gender-based violence throughout her time in the council and sponsors the legislation being voted on today. We welcome and thank my colleague, Councilmember Helen Rosenthal.
Thank you so much, Chair Adams. I appreciate you very much. I'm going to get into that in a moment. You have taken the reins of this committee and led it with your full heart and intelligence. And I just really have appreciated working with you this term on this on these issues. But I want to speak just for a minute about my bill and sort of add on to what Chair Adams has already highlighted. I was very pleased to work closely with the NYPD on the language of this bill. We had a very constructive conversation. They were very interested in negotiating with the city council on this, and I want to publicly acknowledge and thank them for that. I thought that was an incredibly meaningful statement just from the get-go. The bill has two component parts, as Chair Adams has said. The first part has to do with training of NYPD officers, and Chair Adams mentioned several of the just heartbreaking stories that we heard. I want to add on that, many times, unfortunately, survivors are dismissed right from the first time they encounter police. And this summer, unfortunately, a survivor had a very unfortunate experience with responding officers in Central Park. She called 911. Responding officers came immediately. The assailant was there and was immediately apprehended. The survivor told her story, and the responding police let the assailant go because they didn't, I guess, understand her way of talking about the rape that is often language that is used for someone who has just been traumatized. They let the assailant go. She called again, believe it or not, and a second set of officers showed up who unfortunately also let the assailant go. But this time those officers did call the sex crimes unit, and the assailant was then arrested, although again, the victim was treated poorly. And I commend the arrest for sure, but it shouldn't take a victim 3 times of having to tell her story to be believed by the responding police officers. So really, again, appreciative to the NYPD for negotiating this bill together. The second part of the bill addresses the issue of domestic violence fatalities or inter-partner violence fatalities. This is the number of people who have been killed in these relationships or associated people who have killed in these relationships has remained steady at 50 to 60 people every year for as long as I've been looking at the data, which is about since 2010. And the fact that, while crime during this period plummeted and homicides plummeted from 2000 down to, in the 200s, and now it has spiked back up, but why is it that we can bring down homicides in the general population, but not for victims of domestic violence or their families? And so the second part of this bill really addresses that issue so that we can better understand these homicides and government can be given the tools to do a better job addressing this issue and prayerfully bringing them down as we have done for homicides during the same period. So I cannot thank Chair Adams enough. I can't thank this council enough, the council staff who helped negotiate this bill. And I'm really want to appreciate, and if I get the name wrong, just you can send me a text and I will fix it at a later time. But Josh Kingsley, but also previously Dan Addis, Brian Crow, were phenomenal partners in thinking about these issues and trying to help government help survivors just a little bit better. And of course, Chair Adams, I meant to say at the end, but I guess I said it at the beginning. You know, you have been a phenomenal leader of this committee. You have always been so gracious. And as I've said to you privately, I really have learned from you and want to thank you for helping me understand working with the NYPD in a more constructive way. And it really paid off in this bill. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I urge my colleagues to vote yes.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Rosenthal. And I must say that your dedication to this cause and always being the #1 champion of women's issues in particularly specifically around this issue of sexual abuse and assaults, your commitment, your dedication, your thoughtfulness has brought so much to so many. And I thank you for being such a vital part of this committee as well. This work will go on. You will be missed dearly in this council, by the way. And thank you again for your leadership and mentorship throughout my career in the New York City Council. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to work with you. We've also been joined by Councilmember Cabrera. And I now call for a roll call vote on these two pieces of legislation.
Thank you and good morning. This is the Committee on Public Safety. Roll call vote on Intro 2439A and Resolution 1782. Chair Adams.
I vote aye on all.
Councilmember Cabrera.
I vote aye on all.
Councilmember Gibson.
I vote aye, and I want to echo the sentiments of our chair and congratulating and thanking Councilmember Helen Rosenthal for your leadership, for always being a champion, fighting for gender equity and making sure that we transform the Special Victims Division and we really make sure that we give victims a real powerful voice and the services they need. I am so proud to work with you, call you a colleague and my friend, and I proudly vote aye on all. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. Councilmember Menchaca.
Yes, I vote aye. And I just want to say thank you to Helen Rosenthal, an incredible council member. We came in together, and thank you so much watching you fight, not just for this unit and the incredible work that this transformation of this unit really goes to you and the colleagues that have been supporting this, but Councilmember and Chair Adrian Adams for your support on this and your grace. Thank you so much. I vote aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Miller.
Excuse me, explain my vote, please.
Councilmember Miller, explain his vote.
Okay, Chair Adams, I just want to thank you for your leadership over the past years that you have chaired this committee. You've done it with distinction, certainly. Really moved the needle on police reform and other issues, particularly supporting communities of color. I want to thank you for that. And certainly, Helen Rosenthal, you have been a champion for the voiceless. It has not been easy. Thank you so much, and I'm proud to vote aye on all.
Thank you. Councilmember Brannan.
Congratulations to all. I vote aye.
Councilmember Holden.
I congratulate the sponsors of these bills, especially Councilmember Rosenthal. More has to be done, but right now in my local precinct, survivors of sexual attacks or domestic violence are forced to meet in a dingy basement office. And I lose that, I want to use that term loosely. It's not really an office. You're under a stairwell and you have to meet with the officer and it's you can't even, I can't even stand up in that office. That's how low underneath the stairwell. So more has to be done. I've spoken to the NYPD. They're going to redesign that and hopefully move that up onto the 3rd floor and give it the attention it needs. But I want to thank everyone, especially Councilmember Rosenthal. I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Councilmember Powers.
Also, big congratulations and thank you to Councilmember Rosenthal and of course, Chair Adams as well. And with that, I vote aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Riley.
I vote aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 9 in the affirmative, 0 abstentions, 0 in the negative, and 0 abstentions, both items, Chair Adams, are adopted.
Thank you very much. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Rosenthal, who I believe has something to say.
Thank you so much, Chair Adams. Just 2 quick things. Councilmember Holden, thank you for sharing that story. Let's continue to keep an eye on that together. Indeed, and I want to mention this in particular to the returning council members. The NYPD has pledged and has followed through on the pledge to improve the facilities, the sex crimes unit facilities in every borough. Frankly, Mayor de Blasio's leadership that is going to make that happen. One of the borough sex crimes unit offices will need to is going through a ULURP. And I encourage and hope that the next city council will support that ULURP when it comes to a vote. It's in the Bronx, in Councilmember Cabrera's current unit. Councilmember Prina Sanchez will carry it probably in January or February. So I really appreciate your remembering this conversation and helping to push it through. And Chair Adams, I neglected to mention, thank you for your resolution. You are spot on. I've been listening to multiple podcasts recently. I'll send you the names of them when I remember them, but talking about this exact issue, that police officers, when they are after egregious activity over and over and over again, when they are finally dismissed, move to another county, move to another state, and are hired and redo, again, continue with their pattern, frankly, of abusing their authority. So thank you for that resolution. I will stand with you to lobby the state to pass their bill. So I just wanted to make sure to thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Rosenthal. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Gibson as well.
Oh, so sorry, Chair Adams. I neglected to thank you. I realize this is probably our last committee meeting of the Committee on Public Safety. So I just wanted to publicly in front of our colleagues just express my gratitude and appreciation to you serving as chair, following in the footsteps of not just myself and Donovan Richards, but you have led this committee with commitment and compassion and consistency and dedication. And I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you to the entire public safety team for all of their hard work. I think we have set our footprints in history for others to follow, and what it means to really create public safety priorities in the council and make sure our neighborhoods are safe across the city of New York. So my sister, fellow Women's Caucus member, I just wanted to say congratulations on all your success, and I wish you the very best in your next term. Thank you so much for serving as chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Gibson, for those thoughtful words. And we certainly have looked up to you as being the first woman to serve as chair of this wonderful committee, this public safety committee. So I thank you also. I congratulate you for all of your future endeavors and look forward to serving with you in the community, continuing that relationship that we've built. And thank you so much for those words. Thank you to all of my colleagues for participating this morning in this public safety committee. I'd also like to thank committee counsel Josh Kingsley, Matt Thompson, and of course, he's not here anymore, but Dan Addis, as was mentioned, who has done so much work for us on this public safety committee. Thank all of you for helping us to move this committee forward. We look forward to continuing to do just that. This meeting is now adjourned.